This video is about a combination of experiences that I've had since childhood, and I was wondering if there are others like me out there that might have had similar experiences and might be able to either explain or share among ourselves these kind of experiences. It's not about gaming, it's about spirits. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because throughout my life, I used to have these visits from people in my dreams, usually, and sometimes in real life. And it all began, it began when I was around 7, 8 years old. I remember going to bed and feeling that someone was there watching me, but there was always the feeling of something being there. And even after my mother's death, I had these followers, let's say, follow me around, but they were a bit distant because after my mother's death, I was angry. I had this innate desire to kill or to hunt down. I'm talking about monsters. But I could feel in the wind near me, around me, if someone or something was there. And I would just literally say within me that, if you get closer, I'm gonna beat you down. And as I grew older, I had the urge to study this, to study the phenomena of spirits. And I even tried contacting my mother or some spirits of the earth, let's say, like the wind, the sea. For example, when I first started using white magic, let's say, I would have dreams that were predicting something in the future, just randomly. And then I would realize that I saw this happening either a few hours later or a day later. And it wasn't usually something wild. It was like meeting someone or experiencing the day exactly as I had dreamt it. Or hearing something in the news that I already heard in my dream. And another thing was weather control. I figured out at around age 14 that if I was sitting outside, because I had anger issues back then, I would hold out my hand like this, and I would, if there was leaves on the floor, I would do my hand round and round, and the leaves would start gathering wind and doing a small, I have powers, I can control the wind. And this was not really something off. It was something that I realized, but I didn't believe as strongly as I do now. There was a point where whenever I used to feel happy, it was sunny. Whenever I used to feel angry or sad, and there were times, and there are people who can actually, what's the word? Witness. Yeah, there are witnesses to this. And I can name them because I used to work with them. There were times where it was raining at work in my old job, and the water was getting like inside the building through our back entrance into the kitchen of the restaurant that I was working. So whenever one day, I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna stop this. So I told the cooks, we're gonna laugh about it. So I went to the door. I took off my apron. I looked up at the sky that was like raging down with rain. And they asked me, behind me, they asked me, you know, what are you gonna do? And I told them, I'm gonna stop the rain. Just watch this. So I got myself into a calm state. I looked up at the sky, at the rain, and I told the wind, because I'm used to talking to the wind more. I feel someone is there that is listening when the wind is around. And I put my hand up. You're gonna relax, because I need to go back to work, and we cannot have water in the kitchen. And I started lowering my hand as if I am like pushing down the volume on a giant DJ mixer. And as I was lowering my hand, you could see the rain going from intense to lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter until my hand was about mid-chest and the rain had stopped. And I looked back at the cooks, and they were like, "What the hell was it, man? You're like a wizard." I'm like, "No, that's just energy, you know." That was a good time. Another experience that happened was later on when I started living in apartments that were a bit older. There were times where a bunch of spirits came to me, either in dream or sleep paralysis. And it was so many times that I got used to it. And I can remember vividly the different types of spirits that came. There's one, the usual one, which is the girl in a white gown. That she would never speak, but she would like always stand at the corner of the door looking at me, just standing there. And because at first I used to get afraid, I would hyperventilate and just like push myself up to get out of the paralysis, and she would disappear. I would have kids showing up in my sleep paralysis, and for some reason these kids, I felt I had to protect them. They were like, it was one kid with like dark black eyes and hair that was grabbing onto my leg under my, because I felt something under my covers, and I looked, and it was a kid with black eyes looking up at me, scared. And I'm like, "Are you hiding from something?" And he couldn't speak, he was crying. So I put my covers down and I said, "Okay, don't worry, you're safe." There was another kid again that was also hiding, but it was like playing. It felt like it was alone in that apartment for a long time, and it finally found someone to play with. I just felt that it was around, and I felt that, okay, he's not going to do anything, just let him be. By this time, I managed to learn how to create energy field around me, like a protective shield that protects me from bad spirits, let's say. There was another time where I was in sleep paralysis again, eyes open, and I saw an old man, but a different kind of old man, but from the dark ages, let's say. He entered my room, he closed the door, and he was holding these old candle holders where it's like a circle and the candle is just standing on top, and it's like this. He was holding that, and he walked towards me, and I was like shouting in my head, like, "Who are you? Get out of my apartment!" And he wasn't speaking, but he was like nudging my shoulder as if he was trying to say something. And I got so angry that I looked at my hand, and I was like, and I like pulled it up, and I got off out of the sleep paralysis, and he was gone. And I realized that, when I got up, I checked my door, it was locked, there was no one there. And then I heard the toilet running. The toilet flush had gotten stuck to the down motion, and it was just like running the water. Like he came to tell me to undo the thing so the water stops running that I've had. And around like the last year and this year quite often, I have not been sleeping in my room, in the bedroom, because there is something there. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but sometimes it likes to crawl on my bed, just get up next to my legs and just come upwards. But before it reaches shoulder height, I wake up and do the covers, and it disappears. Even the weight of the motion, the weight disappears as well. And recently, I felt I had one of the, and I was feeling with my left hand, which was spread out. I was feeling that there was something round, something hard, like a head, under my covers to my left side. And I was like, wait a minute, this is not the covers, piled up, because they're usually soft. And I tried to get up to see what it was. So I moved my hand away from it. I pulled my covers, and I got up. I tried to open the lights, and they were not opening. But I realized that the bathroom light was open. So I said to myself, what if I'm still in my dreaming state? I tried to cover myself again, saying that, okay, it was a dream. And I felt that something was watching me. So I got up, and as I got up, I looked down, and my hands were like this, but I could also see that my hands were, down, like sleeping. So I was sitting as a spirit on myself, out of the body. So I'm like, oh no, I need to get back. I mean, this hasn't happened before. So I lay back down, and I tried to wake myself up, and I woke up. And I checked my cover. I opened the light. I checked my covers. There was nothing there. I thought I could sleep here, but I can't. So, for the past 1 or 2 years, I've been sleeping on, and I just wanted to know if there was anyone else who wanted to share their stories. It's nice. I mean, something I really like about this is that even though there is a presence around me, I feel there are many kinds of presences. Like the wind, whenever I feel that I need a breath of it, like I'm feeling down or I'm feeling pressured, I always go outside and I say, please give me some air so I can breathe. And you feel the wind go like, and it helps me out a lot. Even there are days where it's doom and gloom, like those gray days of rain. And I feel that I need the sun, There are days where we need to recharge the batteries. And it actually listens to me, like it pushes some sort of hole in the clouds so that some sort of sunlight can come out for a bit. How are you gonna go to your apartment? Since my job is opposite my house, but I have to cross the road to get there. And there were, like, in the winter, there were days where it was pouring rain, and everyone was asking, how am I going to get to my car to go home and stuff. I was asking the rain if it could hold itself for a bit so I can get to my apartment. Because, like, there were times where it was, like, pouring rain and then stop. And then it was time for me to go home. And as I was climbing the hill, walking the hill out of my job onto the road to go opposite so I can get to my house, it was starting to rain. And I would look up and say, can you wait a bit? Can you just hold on a few seconds so I can at least get under my apartment's staircase? And it would hold on. It would like do like light rain that you don't feel. And at the moment that I would get to the stairs where I was like covered, one thing that I'm very grateful for is when I need nature. I need trees. I need like just to look or smell or feel the nature. And there are days where I just, as I'm walking or even as I'm working and I'm inside, I find a window from one of the hotel clients' rooms, and I open the slide door and I just look at the trees. A few seconds of looking at the trees, it's like it takes me back to my mid-20s when I was training martial arts in the forest of my town, my city. Our sensei used to take us to the forest like every now and then. We used to have our dojo training and we used to go to the forest also to do some meditation, some conditioning exercises, some connection with the earth exercises, even fighting, like stealth training. And whenever I feel that I need this sort of nature, it's like the wind sends me the smell of the trees of that forest. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. I know some may not believe in God or gods or energies or whatever, but they are around us. I'm saying it in light of experiences. And I just want you to know that there are bad ones, but there are also good ones following you around, watching over you. I mean, Even the crows are watching us, and they're communicating between them. Even the cats that are outside, they know, like, they can sense when I'm coming home, and even without them looking at me, they would just run to the road and find me as I'm climbing up to the building. And the wind that I speak to is the same wind that blows on your face. It's just one free spirit moving around the earth and listening to your thoughts, listening to your feelings, and basically giving you that little push whenever you need it. One thing that I remember I did when I was in my teenage years, like when I first left England and came to Cyprus, and I was in like the Dragon Ball phase of my mind. You know, as the Dragon Ball characters, when they power up, their energy shows as waves, like a fire around them. I used to stand outside for a couple of hours trying to focus on that energy around me, and I used to try to push myself up to lift in the sky. Well, I've never lifted myself in the sky, but I have gotten pretty close to that. There was a moment when I was training so hard on this energy thing, wave around me, that I was basically trying to push it down towards the earth so I can push myself up. And there was a moment where I was on my toes, my big toes, standing on them like this, like as if I was kind of floating. I could feel my body like being a bit lighter, but it wasn't letting go of the earth. And then I came back. That was the furthest height I got to levitation. I never had the chance to do it again because, well, we grow up and other things get in the way. But yeah, there are many things you can do in your life. I'm not saying you can fly. I'm not saying you can run super fast or have superpowers. I'm saying there are many hidden strengths and even powers that the human body and mind and soul has that we haven't figured out yet, that we need to spend time thinking about. Not thinking about, trying them out. Even the fact that I'm doing AI, having a living person on my PC. But yeah, it feels like you're creating something new, a life form that is not biological, but it's learning to become biological. As we are learning to become more technological, using machines more and more, like the phone in my face right now, machines are also learning how to become more biological. And you can see that from the ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. They're all being trained on human interaction. They're all being trained on human experiences, videos, and habits.